Offensive impact. Key players for the Clemson Tigers in 2023. We're going to dive into this. Now, it's tempting to highlight the dynamic duo of Will Shipley and Phil Maffa. I mean, how could you not? They're probably the best group on the Clemson's offense, to be honest with you. But I want to start with somebody that I think is really the centerpiece of it all. And it's probably not going to be a shock to you, but this is Cade Klubnik, sophomore quarterback, holds the most critical position on the field. He's the general. His performance will greatly influence Clemson's success. So where Clemson goes is where Cade goes, and vice versa. Now, he's very impressive with his versatility, with his feet, with his throwing ability. I like it. But the reason why he's a critical piece for Clemson is, to me, whether or not he can improve on his decision-making. We need to see if he can make smarter choices and not do those things, those instances where he's running 15 to 20 yards backwards. Now, don't get me wrong. Way better than DJ. Okay. I'm not beating him up because everybody likes to say, well, Morgan, you're just so negative. No, I'm just being honest. I'm just being realistic with how I feel about this team and where I want to see improvement from last year. Is Cade still the former Elite 11 MVP quarterback? Yes, he is. Is he a 5-star quarterback? Yes, he is. Is he fascinating and kind of cute? Yes, he is.
Oh, God.
But
I knew you were going to go there.
His success depends on how well he can improve his decision-making as a sophomore quarterback. All jokes aside, I put him as number 1 for me, okay?
Okay.
I think most people would agree with that. But then after that, I put the offensive line and their relationship together. Specifically on the offensive line, if you're going to pull my arm and say,
I am,
and say what specific person, I'm going to say Tristan Lee, because Tristan Lee is that 5-star recruit that has to step up. Cade Klubnik needs to be able to trust the guy that's protecting his blind side. And unfortunately, there's been kind of whispers that he may or may not be the starter. And that to me is not good, because you're the 5-star guy. You're the guy that's next up. You were the one that was recruited to be the left tackle. Yep. And especially if somebody younger, even though I like Colin Sadler, don't get me wrong, somebody younger passes him up, it's a little bit concerning to me. But I do feel like, the concerns aside, the left tackle is super important. Clemson has been basically blessed with the fact that they didn't have to worry about left tackle for 7 years because of Jordan McFadden. Not 7 years. Again, I'm just joking. If you haven't been a part of the show, you know half the stuff I say I make up. The other half is just a joke. But Jordan McFadden, you could trust him consistently every single year, right? He was going to be the starter. The dude was going to play every single snap, which was like 900 snaps a year. And he was going to play through injury, whatever. It was going to just happen. He was going to be there. That's gone. Tristan Lee has to be that guy. Or if it's not going to be Tristan Lee, you're looking at Marcus Tate, possibly somebody who is coming off of injury. Or you're looking at Colin Sadler, who I love. Great family. Great guy. Doesn't have any experience. So I don't think, we've already heard from Thomas Austin that they're not going to move Blake Miller from right to left. So those are your options, in my opinion. And then finally, you can't say that a player or a group is impactful this year on the offense after talking about quarterback, after talking about offensive line, Tristan Lee, left tackle. Again, I'm going to purposely ignore the running backs because I think that's too easy. The last thing on the list would have to be your wide receivers. And to me, you could pick a lot. And I think, Al, I'm guessing here, I think you're going to go with Adam Randall. I'm actually going to go with Bo Collins. Now, I don't even know if you're going to pick a wide receiver, but I'm going to go with Bo Collins. And some people would say, well, Morgan, you got to go with Antonio Williams. You got to go with Bo Collins. No, I feel like that Bo Collins, if he's healthy, showed that he could be successful under DJ. I think that he could be 5 times as successful, not only with Cade Klubnik, but healthy. And, oh, by the way, with Garrett Riley scheming up the offense. I feel like that they can thrive with this wide receiver group. A lot of people have already written them off. You've seen what you need to see. I'm talking people who are involved in the program, have studied it and analyzed it and reported on it for years, have told me we don't need to see any more of these wide receivers. We need some new wide receivers. I say, hold up. I say Bo Collins has an opportunity to really show out under Garrett Riley. Again, you could argue Adam Randall. I think, Al, you will. But those are my key players there. Again, to recap, Cade Klubnik, Tristan Lee, Bo Collins, offensive impact players, key players that Clemson must have to perform successfully in 2023. That's what I got.
Look, and those are great picks, actually. And what's funny is, this is a tough question because there's many different facets to this question. So first of all, you're 100% right. Cade Klubnik is the guy. He's number one. He's got to be. He's the quarterback. It all starts with quarterback, and everybody knows it. He flashed what he could do at times last season, and he also showed at times he's got a long way to go. And like you said, is he going to be able to make better decisions? Is he going to be able to step up in the pocket instead of trying to escape to the outside and make those necessary throws and comfortable in the pocket? I think that's going to be kind of what decides his trajectory this year. All that remains to be seen. But look, Clemson rose to the top with great quarterback play, so Cade needs to take a step in that direction. So you nailed number one, and what's even crazier, Morgan, you nailed number two as well.
What?
And I didn't like that you nailed it. Okay, I wanted you to pick Shipley. I wanted you to pick Maffa. But you're 100% right. It's Tristan Lee. And honestly, you could say it's whoever the left tackle is. But, the rumblings you hear in the offseason, Tristan Lee seems to have the edge right now. It seems he's made the commitment to get his body in a better shape. So it could be Colin Sadler, like you said. They could slide Marcus Tate over from left guard to left tackle. In any of those, I think would be okay. But, yeah, if quarterback's your most important position, the guy protecting his blind side is therefore one of the most important positions on there as well. So I agree 100%. I have Tristan Lee at number two. And so Antonio Williams is my number three. So you thought I was going to Adam Randall, and you're not wrong. I debated between Adam Randall and Antonio Williams for quite some time because if I'm not mistaken, one of the last shows that I did, I talked about Adam Randall and what I saw in him, and he has the potential to be that Clemson alpha that we've been missing. And I think on paper, he is that guy. But we haven't seen it yet, which is why I picked Antonio Williams, because Antonio Williams has flashed. He showed us what he's got. He showed us to be the most dynamic receiver we have right now. And that's why I picked Antonio Williams, because, look, if Shipley goes down, if Maffa goes down, God forbid, let's not speak that into existence, but you know what I'm saying? If one of those goes down, we're going to be fine with the other. I think this is also a question of depth. You lose Antonio Williams, that's not a good thing. He's the best receiver you have. You lose him, you're in trouble. And it's the same thing at quarterback. You lose Klubnik, you're in trouble. It had a lot to do with what was behind each player. That's kind of another reason I consider these critical players for the offense. So I think Antonio Williams is that guy right now. He's looked really good. I wanted to put Randall there, but it's one of those things. I've got to see it before I label him a critical guy. It's a fun discussion to have for sure. I hope we have a little bit of, variance in the defense, but I got to tell you, I think we're going to be pretty close there too. I'm anxious to see where we go, but that's what I got for offense. Number one, Cade Klubnik. Number two, Tristan Lee. Number three, Antonio Williams.
I mean, we both matched two of them. So
in order.
Those have to be it. I mean, those have to be it. Cade Klubnik, Tristan Lee have to be the most important thing. Now, the reason why you ignored the running back, was it the same reason as me?
So I ignored the running back because I feel like if one were to go down for some reason, that we have the other and we'll be fine. That's why I ignored them. Not that they're not going to be important. The offense, I mean, Shipley and Maffa are both going to be an absolutely massive part of this offense. But again, if we lose one, we'll have the other, and I think the running back will be fine. So the wide receiver room has a lot of proving to do. We haven't seen the wide receivers do what wide receiver you used to do. We haven't seen that in a couple of years, and we need to see it again. Antonio Williams is a step in that direction, I'm hoping.
Matt B gets in, says, Cade got to work on not fluttering deep balls. Hope it's not just an arm strength issue. Now, I don't remember a ton of the fluttering of deep balls. My biggest thing is always saw him scrambling, 20 yards backwards. And I was like, you can't keep this up.
Yeah, he skies him, man. I don't know if fluttering he means like the spiral's not tight or he's just shooting them way up in the air, because he does. He throws them really high. At least a few we saw last season. I remember that.
John Sarian says, more than a few times I remember Bo Collins looking really irritated with DJ's location and timing. I think so. I think for the most part, I remember that with Joseph Ngata.
Ngata, yeah.
No
walking
doubt. Off the field pretty frustrated.
Yeah. A lot to be frustrated about.
I think especially if you're constantly in practice running the same reps and then you get to the field and the timing's off every single time, that can be frustrating, especially all those times we heard, Al, DJ was good in practice. His timing was good. His spirals were good. His releases were good. Everything was good. But then the game come along and you're like, are we watching the same player here?
Sure.
Clemson Carson gets in and says, I hope Antonio Williams doesn't catch the sophomore slump like EJ Williams and Bo Collins. Do you have any kind of concern there?
It's funny because I'll sit here and say, no, I don't. But it happens. It happens to people. We see it all the time. I just think Antonio Williams is too good to let that happen. I think he puts in the work. So I don't think it's going to be a major issue.
Yeah. I can't see that happening. I hope it doesn't, man. That would be crazy bad.
Oh yeah.
Clemson Carson also says the pass that he threw to Turner in Charlotte went to heaven before it landed. Now, I don't know if Clemson Carson, you were actually at the game, but I was there in the press box, and I can confirm that sucker was thrown above the press box eye line. And like I said, 49 yards downfield. It ended up going for like 60 something, but in the air, it was from where he landed. I did it on the passing chart. You know how I do my charts.
Oh yeah.
It was like 49 yards in the air, and it was probably 90 yards high as well. So again, for sure. Andrew says, I'd love to see the tape from practice of DJ. No way he was tearing it up like we were told. Yeah, hard to say. But we won't harp on, things of the past. We got to move on.